At 8:20 a.m. local time, just off the northern coast of Iran, deck crews aboard the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln move with near-perfect precision during a training exercise. The ship turns into the wind, creating roughly a 30-knot headwind, ideal conditions for launching aircraft. Tension fills the air as preparations begin for a precision strike operation. On the long runway of the base, technical and flight crews work with almost flawless accuracy, preparing fighter jets for launch under extreme time pressure. Inside the mission briefing room, pilots from an F/A-18 Super Hornet squadron receive their final intelligence updates. Their target lies deep inside Iranian territory, the Fordow nuclear facility, a heavily fortified underground complex built deep within a mountain. Intelligence assessments indicate that many sections of the site are protected by thick layers of concrete and rock, making conventional strikes largely ineffective. Near the runway in the weapons preparation area, technicians mount the last BLU-109 bunker-busting bombs onto 12 F/A-18 Super Hornets. Each aircraft's weapons system runs automatic diagnostics, confirming target parameters and programming the bomb release sequence. Meanwhile, the squadron commander reviews the entire mission plan one more time, making sure every step of the coordination is perfectly aligned. This operation demands tight coordination and timing down to the second. When the launch order comes from command, the pilots quickly move to their aircraft. One by one, the Super Hornets taxi onto the runway. Jet engines roar as the first aircraft accelerates and lifts off into the night sky. About every 30 seconds, another jet leaves the deck, quickly joining the formation. Once assembled, the group climbs to about 20,000 feet, then turns northeast, gradually approaching the target area. As they near Iranian airspace, the formation splits into smaller strike groups according to plan. Each group consists of 4 aircraft, tasked with hitting different key points within the Fordow underground complex. The lead pilot activates the targeting system while monitoring the tactical data stream shared across the entire formation. During the planning phase, mission planners considered several options, including deploying F-35 fighters or launching Tomahawk cruise missiles. In the end, they concluded the mission required a different type of aircraft, one that was durable and capable of carrying the heaviest bunker-penetrating bombs in the U.S. Navy's arsenal. That's why the F/A-18 Super Hornet was selected. The aircraft stands out for its exceptional payload capacity during strike operations. Unlike many other naval aircraft, the Super Hornet can carry up to 17,750 pounds of external weapons, about 80% more than the older Legacy Hornet it replaced. This allows a single aircraft to carry multiple 2,000-pound bunker-buster bombs while still carrying defensive weapons, reducing the need to deploy separate bomber and escort aircraft. The Super Hornet has a combat radius of roughly 449 nautical miles, using only its internal fuel. That allows aircraft launching from forward bases or from the USS Abraham Lincoln to reach targets deep inside Iranian territory while maintaining tactical flexibility. When missions require extended time over the target area, air-to-air refueling within the formation can nearly double the operational range. At that moment, the pilots didn't realize that this skill, often overlooked but critically important, might become the deciding factor later that day. Along with many other factors, it makes the Super Hornet the most suitable choice for such a complex mission. Choosing the Super Hornet for the operation isn't just a matter of equipment. It highlights the aircraft's unique tactical advantages compared with other options for striking a hardened target like Fordow. Although Tomahawk cruise missiles can strike fixed targets from very long distances, they lack one crucial capability: the ability to adjust targets in real time. When dealing with targets that can shift or are buried deep inside mountains, like the Fordow nuclear facility, the inability to adjust the strike point during flight becomes a major limitation. The F-35 offers a clear advantage in stealth, allowing it to penetrate hostile airspace more easily. However, when it needs to carry the heavy bunker-busting bombs required to hit hardened underground structures, the F-35 has to give up a significant amount of either weapons payload or operational range. That's why this mission calls for the specific combination of strengths provided by the F/A-18 Super Hornet: the ability to carry a large weapons load, stay airborne over the target area for extended periods, and use flexible targeting systems. These capabilities allow the strike formation to hit the primary hardened targets first, while still maintaining an air presence, ready to attack other critical points within the Fordow underground complex if necessary. Meanwhile, the aircraft that launched from the USS Abraham Lincoln are rapidly approaching the target area. Throughout the flight, pilots continue receiving the latest intelligence updates from command. At around 10,000 feet, the formation leader confirms the position of every aircraft in the group. The force is divided into 4 teams of 3 aircraft, each assigned specific targets within Fordow's underground network. Shortly afterward, the teams break away from the main formation and maintain complete radio silence to reduce the risk of detection. Everything proceeds exactly as planned until an unexpected update appears on the tactical communications channel. Reconnaissance sources in the area report that Iranian security forces have noticed unusual activity and are beginning to deploy units near the facility. Several units have already moved into defensive positions along the mountainside, roughly 6 kilometers east of the main target. This means the element of surprise, the key to the entire operation, is rapidly shrinking. The strike formation must quickly neutralize those defensive positions before they have time to react or alert the entire complex. The lead aircraft descends to 6,000 feet, flying low along the mountain terrain to reduce the chances of radar detection. On the targeting display, pilots begin to see concentrated heat signatures near several tunnel entrances, clear signs of activity inside the underground facility. Reconnaissance equipment has already placed a laser designation on one of the main tunnel entrances. The beam is invisible to the naked eye, but the aircraft's sensors can precisely identify its location. 4 Super Hornets from the strike group synchronize their approach paths, reaching the bomb release point almost simultaneously, just seconds apart. The first 2 aircraft roll their jets and pull into a 45-degree dive. At exactly 4,200 feet, the weapon systems automatically release the first BLU-109 bunker buster bombs. The bombs fall along ballistic trajectories while their laser guidance systems make small adjustments during the 12-second descent to stay locked onto the target. From the air, there's almost no visible explosion at first. Instead, the bombs punch deep through layers of rock and concrete in the mountainside before detonating inside the underground structures. Just seconds later, powerful secondary explosions begin erupting from within the mountain as fuel depots and supply storage areas ignite. This effect occurs because the Super Hornets are carrying weapons specifically designed to penetrate rock and reinforced concrete before releasing their full destructive power. The BLU-109 bunker-busting bomb carried beneath each F-A-18's wings combines massive weight with specialized engineering to destroy hardened targets that many other weapons can barely damage. Each bomb weighs 2,000 pounds, with a 535-pound explosive warhead, enough to produce devastating force once it detonates inside an underground structure. What truly sets the BLU-109 apart is its exceptional penetration capability. It can punch through up to 8 feet of reinforced concrete, or burrow roughly 20 feet into compacted soil before exploding. This remarkable performance is made possible by an extremely thick, hardened steel casing and a specially designed bomb nose that allows the weapon to maintain structural integrity, even when striking extremely hard surfaces. Another crucial feature is the programmable delayed fuse, which plays a vital role in attacks on underground targets. It allows the bomb to penetrate deep into a structure before detonating, creating destructive effects from inside the facility, where even the thickest protective layers become useless. By setting the detonation delay anywhere from 25 to 100 milliseconds after impact, the bomb can drive deeper into reinforced structures before exploding. That very short delay is just enough time for the warhead to punch through several layers of rock and concrete in the Fordow underground facility. When the explosion finally occurs, the shockwave spreads throughout the internal chambers instead of being absorbed by the outer protective layers. As a result, the destructive impact on tunnels, bunkers, and underground technical rooms increases dramatically. It's this exceptional penetration capability that turns what once seemed like an almost impossible mission into a feasible operation. The Fordow facility is built deep inside a mountain, protected by multiple layers of reinforced concrete and a complex network of branching tunnels. These defenses were specifically designed to withstand conventional bombing. If only surface detonating weapons were used, tunnel entrances might be temporarily sealed while the internal technical areas remained largely intact. But with its ability to penetrate deep before exploding, the BLU-109 creates a powerful pressure wave that travels through corridors and technical compartments. The resulting force causes sections inside the facility to collapse, disabling critical systems throughout the underground complex. However, that was only the first phase of the mission. After completing the initial strike, 8F, A-18 Super Hornets pull back on their controls and climb away from the target area. Over the tactical communications channel, the formation leader begins checking the status of each aircraft, especially their remaining fuel levels. Extended combat maneuvers, combined with high-speed flight during the attack phase, pushed fuel consumption nearly 40% higher than planned. 4 aircraft in the formation are already approaching bingo fuel, the minimum level required for a safe return to the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln. Without immediate refueling, they would have to leave the mission area earlier than expected, potentially disrupting the next stage of the operation. Fuel warnings flash across the cockpit displays. The numbers on the digital control panel confirm what the formation commander already suspected. The squadron needs fuel right away. At that moment, new signals begin appearing on the radar screen, targets approaching from 30 miles to the west. 4 Super Hornets are flying in a staggered formation, but their configuration is completely different from the strike aircraft. Instead of bombs and missiles, they're equipped with aerial refueling systems. The lead tanker aircraft signals that it's ready. One of the strike fighters banks slightly, slows to about 250 knots, and carefully approaches. From the belly of the refueling Super Hornet, a flexible hose extends outward. At the end of the hose is a drogue basket, swaying in the strong airflow. The fighter pilot gently nudges the aircraft forward. From the nose of the jet, the refueling probe extends and lines up with the moving basket. The first attempt slips slightly off to the side. The second attempt click. The probe locks firmly into the drogue with a metallic snap that echoes through the aircraft's frame. Almost immediately, fuel begins pumping at high pressure into the fighter's tanks. In just over 60 seconds, the fuel tanks are nearly full again. This system, the D704 Buddy Store, mounted under the A-18, allows a standard Super Hornet to function as a flying refueling station. With a transfer rate of up to 220 gallons per minute, the system can nearly refill another A-18 inches, about 75 seconds. In a combat environment, that speed is critical, since aircraft are especially vulnerable while refueling. A Super Hornet configured as a tanker can transfer up to 8,000 pounds of fuel to other aircraft, while still retaining enough fuel to safely return to the USS Abraham Lincoln. That extra fuel can extend the operational time of a 4-aircraft formation over the target area by more than 90 minutes, turning a quick strike into a sustained operation, capable of maintaining pressure on the objective. About 30 minutes after refueling, 4 Super Hornets return to the Fordow area. They fly in an oval-shaped holding pattern at roughly 18,000 feet, continuously scanning the mountain slopes below with infrared sensors and radar, searching for any signs of movement around the underground tunnel system. The first wave of strikes using BLU-109 bunker-busting bombs achieved exactly the results mission planners expected. Several main entrances to Fordow's underground complex have collapsed, forcing anyone still inside to escape through hidden emergency exits scattered along the mountainside. These secondary exits were precisely the locations that intelligence analysts and mission planners had predicted ahead of time. With the main tunnel entrances sealed off, anyone trying to leave the underground facility would almost certainly have to appear at these secondary exit points. On the lead A-18 Super Hornet, the weapons officer suddenly notices unusual heat signatures on the central sensor display. The signal is coming from a narrow rock crevice on the eastern slope of the mountain range surrounding Fordow. The targeting system immediately marks the anomaly and displays its exact coordinates. On the infrared screen, human figures become clearly visible. They are moving quickly and staying close to the rocks, trying to use the terrain for cover. The lead aircraft banks sharply to give the sensors a better viewing angle. The weapons officer zooms in on the thermal image being transmitted from the sensor pod mounted beneath the aircraft. As the magnification increases, the display clearly shows 12 human heat signatures. Some of them appear to be carrying long objects shaped like rifles. After carefully analyzing the enhanced infrared image, the crew confirms that they are armed, hostile personnel attempting to escape the collapsed facility. The lead Super Hornet immediately activates its laser target designator. The target coordinates are automatically transmitted through the tactical data network to the rest of the aircraft patrolling overhead. 2 jets from the formation break away from the patrol pattern and descend to 12,000 feet. preparing to attack while maintaining a safe distance from the mountainous terrain below. Each aircraft releases a precision-guided bomb, allowing the ATFLIR system to guide the weapon throughout its flight. Just seconds later, both bombs hit their targets. On the infrared display, the scene flashes bright white for a split second, as the explosion releases an intense burst of heat, then quickly returns to normal. When the image stabilizes, the aftermath of the strike becomes clear. The battle damage assessment system immediately confirms the result. All 12 targets have been eliminated. Without the advanced sensor equipment mounted beneath the right air intake of each Super Hornet, those individuals might have completely disappeared into the rugged terrain and darkness of the mountains. That equipment is the ASQ-228, Advanced Targeting Forward-Looking Infrared System, better known as ATFLIR. An advanced infrared targeting pod designed to deliver extremely high precision for carrier-based strike aircraft, like the ones operating from the USS Abraham Lincoln. Operating at distances of more than 40 nautical miles, the system can detect, identify, and track heat signatures the size of a human being, even when the target is partially hidden by terrain, rocks, or structures. This long operating range allows aircraft to remain safely outside the reach of most shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles, while still maintaining accurate tracking and targeting capabilities. Even at maximum range, the system achieves a resolution of about 1.1 meters. This allows operators to distinguish between an armed individual and someone who is unarmed, and in many cases even identify the type of weapon being carried. This impressive clarity is made possible by an advanced mid-wave infrared sensor, operating in the 3.5 micron wavelength band, which can detect extremely small temperature differences on a target's surface. In addition, the integrated laser designator within the ATFLIR system allows targets to be marked with an accuracy of less than 1 meter at operational distances. This enables precision-guided weapons to strike very specific points, rather than simply hitting a broad area such as a tunnel entrance or mountainside. For this mission, that capability is critically important. And unfortunately for the forces attempting to escape from Fordow, this was only the first strike in a series of additional attacks already being prepared in the skies above.